Hey guys, I'm Mo today. Today we'll be over the squads that were just announced for the North and South game that will be played in August 29th. Hopefully, we'll have to wait and see because the game might be moved to Wellington instead of, you know, Auckland because of, the whole COVID situation there. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, no, they just announced all the squads. There's a few surprises, a few omissions left out, and some players who are just kind of expected to be in the squad anyway. So yeah, if you don't know how the North and South, how it all works is that essentially the All Blacks coaches, the assistant coaches are put as the coaches for each of the teams, and they select players on who on where they played first within the Mitre 10 Cup essentially. So if you don't know what the Mitre 10 Cup is, essentially like where one of the teams might be is Auckland. So if you have the likes of Redgo, who might have played for Auckland when he first started within the Mitre 10 Cup, so he'll be selected within the north side. And you might have a player who played within Bay of Plenty, so he might be selected within the South. That's the way it kind of works. But yeah, other than that, I'll just go through the lineups and just give you my opinion on what I think about them. So, for the hookers, for the North, they selected Asapa Amora, Ash Dixon, and Kurt Eklund. And for the South, they've gone with Cody Taylor, Liam Coltman, and Andrew Makalejo. So yeah, no, it's definitely interesting selections there. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is that there's no Dan Coles for the North. That just comes. He's out for this game essentially just due to injury, like a lot of other players. And yeah, no, that leaves Kurt Eklund to step up within his place, and he definitely deserves to be within this selection of hookers. He had I'd say somewhat decent competition for the Blues within Super Rugby Aotearoa, and with Asapa Moore and Ash Dixon as well. They were pretty impressive throughout the whole Super Rugby Aotearoa for the Hurricanes and the Highlanders. Yeah, they definitely deserve to represent the hookers for North. And yeah, with the South, they're the likes of Cody Taylor and Liam Coltman, who are essentially All Blacks, hookers essentially. So it's a given that they'll be selected really. And they have Andrew Makalehu, who's the second choice hooker, I believe, for the Crusaders. So it's kind of an odd one, I would say. I thought maybe like Takaleho might have been selected. I'm not sure if he would have been within South or North, but I thought he might have been within the conversation. But yeah, he definitely. Yeah, Makaleho, I'm not really not gonna say anything bad about him really. But yeah, no, if I had to say who has the better hookers between North and South, I'd probably go with South. Mainly on the reason that they have Cody Taylor and Liam Coleman, who are usually All Blacks regulars. So yeah, South would definitely win the hooker situation. So, moving on to the props, for the North, they've selected Alex Fio, Aidan Johnstone, Angus Talaval, Carl Tumafe, and Alpha Tumafasi. And for the South, they've gone with George Bauer, Alex Hodgman, they've gone with Nepo Alala, Tyrell Lomax, and Joe Moody. So yeah, it's definitely, I'd definitely say it's more even within that spot for sure. I mean, with the likes of, they have a few youngsters within the North with Alex Fido and Aiden Johnstone, which I love to see really. And yeah, you have the likes of All Black starters were there with Carl Tumafe and Alpha Tungafasi. I mean, both of them have been very impressive for the Blues. I mean, particularly Alpha Tungafasi. Angus Talbot, I'll admit, it's kind of a surprise really because he didn't really play a lot within Super Rugby Aotearoa, but I guess he is a solid player within the past and definitely deserves to be within the conversation. I'm trying to think if there's another player I might have selected, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, I think he definitely deserves to be within it. But yeah, no, moving on with the South, with the props, they have the likes of George Bauer, which he has been very impressive for the Crusaders, really. With Alex Hodgman, he's probably the most improved prop, I'd say, without all the props I've seen. Nepo Lalala, he's kind of dropped a bit, but I understand why he's still selected. He is a bit young. I think he's 24, so yeah, that's pretty young for a prop. And yeah, the Chiefs didn't do well this year, so obviously his performances didn't really reflect on how well they did. But yeah, he still deserves to be selected. And then yeah, Tyler Lomax and Joe Moody were both pretty impressive for the Crusaders and Hurricanes respectively. And yeah, they definitely deserve to be selected within that the South team. But yeah, if I had to look at who has the better props within this, I would actually go with. That's a tough one. I'd actually go with the North. I'd say just the North, purely on the basis that I think Alex Fido and Aiden Johnstone bring something different within the prop area, and they both have a lot of potential really. And then Carl and Alpha Tango Foster, they have that chemistry already within the blue setup. But yeah, no, that was definitely a closer one compared to the Hookers. So, moving on to the locks. Within the North, they selected Scott Scrapton. They're going with Patrick Tupolota, who's the captain of the North side. And they're going with Tupou Vavae, which is an interesting pick. And yeah, with the South, they've gone with Mitchell Dunshea. They've gone with... Who else? They're going with Selby Rickett. Yeah, Selby Rickett. Sorry. Selby Rickett. And they're going with Samuel Whitelock. And he's also the captain for the South. So yeah, no, it's interesting to see. It's actually kind of even within that area. You know, you have the likes of Tupoloto and Whitelock, who are respectively, you know, all black starters in a sense. And then you have Scott Scrapton and Mitchell Dunshea, who have a lot of experience, you could say, within Super Rugby in general. And then you have like the young guns with Tupou Vavae and Selby Rickett, who, you know, to be honest, I haven't seen Selby Rickett play a lot. I'm actually very surprised in the selections within the lock selection, particularly. You know, they had the likes of, you know, James Blackwell and Perry Parkinson, who've both missed out, which is kind of odd to see because they've been both very impressive for us Super Rugby Aotearoa, but maybe they have injuries that I don't know of, but yeah, it's odd to see that they both weren't selected. I mean, I know Tupou Vavae has been pretty impressive for the Chiefs, but I mean, there's also Al Kui as well, who I think, in my opinion, was slightly better than him. So it's odd to see, you know, a lot of those players missing out. But yeah, no, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out, really. So, moving on to the loose forwards for both North and South. You know, with the North starting off, they have Lachlan Boshier, they have Akira Lione, they have Dalton Papali'i, Artie Sevilla, and they have Hoskins Satutu. So yeah, that was a definitely pretty good loose forward pack there, if I say so myself. And then with the South, they have Tom Christie, they have Shannon Rizal, they have Dylan Hunt, Reed Princept, and Tom Sanders. Yeah. Straight off the bat, I can definitely say that the North have a more dominant, loose forward pack. I mean, they have the likes of Boshier and Kier, who can, you know, respectively play a lot of positions within the loose forwards. You know, Papali'i as well, really, and then, you know, Artie Sevilla and Hoskins Tutu. That adds a lot of power to the pack, essentially, and great ball carrying skills there. Yeah, it's that North loose forward. The North loose forwards are pretty good, and then. But when you look at the South, actually, they have a few, interesting selections. You know, they have the likes of Tom Christie and Tom Sanders, who've been both impressive for the Crusaders and definitely deserve to be within the side. And then you have Shannon Rizal, who I kind of expect to be the All Black 6, really. So he's the one who really stands out within that loose forwards for the South. And then, Dylan Hunt, who's been very impressive for our Super Aotearoa, as well as Reed Princept. So, moving on to the backs, you know, same situation. You know, they have similar. I wouldn't say it comes close, really. I mean, I'd say the North, by the way, if you didn't get that, the North definitely won the loose forward battle there. And with the scrum halves, you know, with the North, they have TJ Perinar, Aaron Smith, and Tungalahi. And then they have, with the South, they have Finley Christie, Mitchell Drummond, and Brad Weber. So yeah, definitely, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a close battle. I mean, you have the likes of Aaron Smith and TJ Perinar. That's an All Blacks duo right there. But you know, you have the likes of Finley Christie and Mitchell Drummond, who's both been pretty impressive throughout Super Rugby Aotearoa. I would say Brad Weber has dropped off slightly. That's, you know, mainly due to the Chiefs' performance within Super Rugby Aotearoa. But yeah, it's interesting to see. It's good to see that he's still selected. But yeah, no, definitely the North wins that battle again. But yeah, moving on to the first five, the fly-offs. You know, with the North, they've actually only selected one player, and that's Bowden Barrett. And with the South, they're going with Richie Mo'unga and Josh Lione. So yeah, it's interesting to see they've done that, but you'll see why they've done that later on. But yeah, no, I definitely have to say South wins this one. I mean, Richie Mo'unga by himself, I think, beats Bowden Barrett just from his, you know, for how well he did within Super Rugby Aotearoa, as well as Josh Lione. He was pretty impressive for the Highlanders as well. And Bowden Barrett, he played like half and half. You know, he played some at fly half and some at fullback. So I wouldn't really say that he's in. He can win the battle essentially for that first five spot. But yeah, no, definitely South wins that. So moving on to the midfield, you know, for the North they selected Rico Lione, Aslaughter Brown, and Peter Munga Jensen. And with the South, they've gone with Brandon Enor, Lester, Jack Goodhue, and Seo Tonkinson. So, yeah, it's an interesting choices there. You know, first of all, with the North, I think that's the perfect combination, really, for the midfield, really, with Rico and Antonio Brown, and also Peter Manga Jensen. He's an up-and-coming centre, and happy to see him selected within the North setup. And yeah, no, with the South as well, you know, the likes of, you know, Jack Goodhue and Brendan Honor, who's, you know, that's a combination by itself, really, which can definitely work. But, you know, they also have Lester, which is interesting to see, because I don't think he played centre before, but I guess they selected him, you know, because I think Crusaders have used him at centre at some points within the game, and he can also play winger as well. So I guess it's a good backup option to have, really. Kind of a versatile player to have within your side. Yeah, you know, with Seo Tonkinson as well, he's been very impressive for the Highlanders. I think he's probably been the best centre they've had throughout Super Aotearoa, so good to see him selected and get noticed. So yeah. So moving on to the outside. Oh, sorry. Before I say that, I'd definitely say, it's a close battle between. I would say that the South wins the battle within the centres. I mean, it's close. You know what? I'm actually gonna say that's a draw, even though I'd say it's a draw, because you have the likes of Rico, Angelo Brown, and Peter Manga Jensen, who are they're all good in their own way. And, you know, you have the likes of Brandon Enor, Lester, Jack Goodhue, Seo Tonkinson, but I think Lester kind of makes it. I would have gone with South, but yeah, I'm going to say that's a draw for that one. But yeah, moving on to the outside backs. With the North, they selected Caleb Clark, Mitch Hunt, Damien McKenzie, Sevu Reece, and Mark Talea. And for the South, they've gone with Jordy Barrett, George Bridge, and Will Jordan. So yeah, it's definitely less than the North, but that's kind of expected, because with a first five situation with Bowden Barrett, they only up with one, and the South up with two. So yeah, no, definitely for the North, you know, you have Mitch Hunt and Damien McKenzie, who can both play 10 and 15. So that's kind of good to have within your side. And, you know, Sevu Reece and Mark Talea and Caleb Clark, they're all good wingers in their own way. And yeah, Caleb Clark and Mark Talea, personally as a Blues fan, I think they definitely deserve to be selected. And Sevu Reece has just been consistent without this competition, without Super Rugby Aotearoa, I mean. And yeah, you know, you have the likes of, with the South, you have Jordy Barrett, George Bridge, and Will Jordan. I mean, that could essentially be an All Black combination right there. That would be my personal All Black combination. So with saying that, I'm going to go with the South and winning that outside backs battle. But yeah, that's it with the announcement. Other than that, I mean, I don't think there's any updates in the moment which and where the game will be played. All I know is that hopefully the players who are based in Auckland will be able to, you know, travel to Wellington to prepare for, you know, training at least, and hopefully the game will be set within Wellington, which I think is most likely will be. I mean, they'll announce it on Friday, but yeah, no, I'll make a preview closer to the game, but I'd say an early prediction, I'd definitely say the North and South will definitely be a close battle for sure, and definitely be a close game. I can see this game being like a over 20-point game for sure for both teams. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Definitely want to see you guys subscribing more. Yeah, really would appreciate it. And yeah, see you next time.